Here we go. Holidays are over. Holidays are over. Finally, we get back to it. Many of us have mixed emotions about that. At any rate, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, and welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Drink it if you got it. Decaf for me, first cup. Oh, wow, good. How are we doing over at Kelsey's house? Still going strong over there. 31 people here. I don't know, guys. Should I just kind of say hello to people until Kelsey's finished and not really get into anything? Sometimes I wonder how to handle this. Well, I'll keep an eye on him anyway. So how are you? Everybody finally over a holiday mood? Did they finally stop setting off firecrackers and fireworks in your neighborhood? I think I heard some fireworks. Actually, heard some fireworks yesterday, last night. Oh, come on, people. What are you celebrating anyway? What are you celebrating anyway? Well, I'll start to say hi to people. Let me scroll back to the chat. First in last night was Mary M. How you doing, Mary? Good to see you. And followed up by Sandy Blythe. See you tomorrow. Ladies June at 1:49 in the morning. Well, that was in the United Kingdom. And I see that Kelsey's now having his drawing. So, well, let's see who won. Dum 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 dum. Sorry, Kathleen Jones. Congratulations, Kathleen Jones. You are the winner this morning. I did watch some of Kelsey this morning, and his Dr. Phil Smith. He just seems like a pretty cool guy. I enjoyed it, and his answers to all the questions, I couldn't disagree with not a single one of them. So we both have been evidently finding out the same information in our journeys. But he's a retired doctor, and I'm not. Good morning, Jerry. How are you? Good to see you. What did she say? She said, good morning, everyone. And it's back to the grind. Not a grind. Back to life. Back to life as normal. Put the fireworks away until the 4th of July. Stop making noise. Save your money. Save your money. That's the one thing that hits me every time we have one of these holidays that revolves around doing nothing but saving money. My father told me when I was a kid, he'd say, when I say, Dad, I just saved so much money by buying this, and he would look at me with misunderstanding and say, where's all this money that you just saved? Can I see it? What do you plan to do with it? And I'd be puzzled. I'd say, what do you mean, Dad? I don't have any money. You say, well, you just told me you saved money. I said, well, I did. He say, no, Mitch, you didn't save money. You spent money. Saving money means putting it aside so you still have it. And I'm glad he kind of taught me that lesson when I was very young, because I've become very cynical about all the marketing methods that we use now. We don't even put a price tag on things in the stores. Go try to buy a new refrigerator and find out how much they cost. Or you see signs on them as if save $300, save $400. Open up a Sam's Club ad. Save $20, save 10 cents, save this, save that. And then the other trick is save up to 50%. And then you go and try to buy it, and you manage to save 2%. And then you ask, well, how come I didn't get 50%? It said so in the ad. No. You have to learn how to read ad speak. It says save up to 50%. Well, 2% is up to 50%. Save as much as, pay as little as. Every time you see the word as, you're never going to get what they lead you to believe. And just got to become a cynic. Got to become a cynic. Here we have Wayne Herman. Hi, Wayne from North Carolina. How are you on this, I would assume, beautiful Monday morning, but it's not light out yet here. It's just be starting to get light. Happily, the days are getting longer. Thomas, good to see you, my friend. How are you? And Lucy. Lucy's here. All the usual suspects. Mike Celian. Melbourne and Richard Williams. Good morning, Richard. And Rick. How are you, Rick? Good to see you. I saw, I was kind of doing my scanning YouTube feed, and I saw Kiltz's Sunday video with Rick in a little window on the cover. So I said, wow, this guy gets around. Ebony Talks, good morning. Ebony, Glenn Guthrie's here. And who was the first one in at 7 a.m.? It was, no surprise, Robbie Autry. Hi, Robbie. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. And Rick is back with us this morning. Papa Carnivore is here. Peter, how you doing, Peter? Barry Simon. Hiya, Barry. I did put a push button on my little console here. Let me show you. Right here. I put a push button. I have a push button here for Rant Man, which does this. Now, I don't put sound to these things because I don't want to disturb it. And I have another push button here next to it for what grinds my beans. So you may be going to see that pop up every once in a while. I love it. I love it. So thank you, Barry, for the artificial intelligence expertise that you shared with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, I'll do a few more of these. We got Lori, Marla Kelly is here. How you doing, Marley? And I was clicking on Marla, and reading Lori underneath it. So there's Lori. Hiya, Lori. How you doing? You always seem, at least based on the emojis, to be in such a great mood. Sandy Bly says, yay, it's Mitch. Hi, Professor. How you doing, Sandy? Baker Runner, Donna Ray is here. Donna Ray is telling me don't worry about other people's shows and have yours, just my opinion. Well, I agree with you, Donna. I've stopped worrying about scheduling my live streams, worried about what Curry's doing or what Russ is doing or what anybody else is doing. I stopped doing that. But it's a little different with Kilts in the morning. Because he usually runs maybe a couple minutes, 5 minutes, on rare occasions, 10 minutes over. And I know that so many people who, watch my morning show also watch his show. And he had a pretty good guest on this morning, and they were talking, they were answering some good questions. And I just figured that, well, maybe people will want to wait till the end of that before coming over to me, because they mostly know that I just say hello to people in the morning. So as a concession to that, I say, okay, for the first few minutes of this show, I'll say hello to people. And then we'll start talking about something. But I don't have a guest. I don't have a panel of doctors. I don't have Alia to keep track of the questions. I have you and me, guys. You and me sitting around the breakfast table, sipping our coffee and talking about what comes up. So that I figure it doesn't hurt to wait. But I agree with you, Donna Ray. I should not worry about the competition. And I don't. Actually, I don't care. A lot of times it's just my courteous nature that if I know somebody like Curry and I find out my live stream conflicts with his, I say, go ahead. You ever do that to somebody? You're driving your car, you come up to the same, go be my guest. Little common courtesy. Papa Carnivore 15. Peter, how is everyone today? He says. Rick, I never win the KMD stuff. Rick, I never win anything. I used to joke all the time. I used to go to model airplane club meetings and then have a raffle. These kind of, where they 50-50, they call them. And then I'd go to cigar meetings because I had a cigar club. We had a cigar club and we had the 50-50 raffle. And if there was anything that I could be certain of in the world, is that I would not win. I would never win. If there was two people and we each bought a 50-50 raffle, the announcement would go like this. And the winner is not Mitch. And that's what I expected. And so I know how you feel, buddy. Been there. I haven't been able to rely on luck to succeed at anything in my life because luck always fails me. Just clawing one foot of one step at a time. Super Tune, how you doing? Good morning, Super Tune. And and I also see that hang on a second, my mouse has decided again for some reason, and I have discovered that the only thing it is that for some reason Windows in its infinite Here I am. I'm back. I am back. Am I back? Let me see. I mean, look at the. Sorry, whenever the mouse screws up, I somehow always end up dumping myself out. That's Monday. Yes. Oh, am I back? Yes, it appears. Maybe. Must have it are back. Okay, thank you, Lewis. Thank you. Because I can't, for some reason. There I am. Okay. I get verblunged. Verblunged, I get verklempt, vermished, all those other Hebrew words that my grandmother used to say. Uh, well, that didn't take too long to recover. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. You got any questions or anything you want to talk about? Not necessarily questions, but subjects, comments, things that you've noticed that you want to inject into the show here this morning. Put a QQQ in front of it. I'll try to notice it. Other than that, I'll keep up with the chat. So I take it everybody had a nice holiday. Which started, it seemed to me that we've all been in holiday mode since before Christmas, since Black Friday. Actually, it's been too much. I think it's too much. Mitch, hit the back button, then he's back in a moment, says Lewis. Okay, let me keep going here. We're going to leave off 7:04. All right, I have to skip some of this. Morning, Manix Gaming. How are you? And Super Tune, I think I said hi to you. Fernando Pasas from Brazil, from Sao Paulo. How you doing, Fernando? Bom dia, man. Bom dia. So I say good morning in Portuguese. Bom dia. I know that because I've, in my wild dating days, dated a few Brazilian women and learned a little bit of Portuguese, enough to be dangerous. Who's this? BMAT. Brian, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. And these names were these all I forgot out there. Where the hell are these? Does this split? That's Larry Ryan. I hate this. I wish they go back to using our channel names like they used to, that had names and spaces or things like Captain America in there, but no, they don't want to do that. I'd be okay if they didn't put the stupid names up in dark green on my screen here in StreamYard because they're channel members. So what happens is I end up having to look closer at the channel members who should basically stand out. It ain't right. The world, like in most other places, is backwards for me. Just backwards, everything. Jerry Voitesh, good morning to you. I saved over $80 on Windex. Yeah. Well, Jerry, what are you going to do with all that money that you saved? No, that's in that context, it's okay. The fact that you can spend money and still save money, get a discount, basically. But they use that word to brainwash us because I think deep down we all understand the meaning of the word to save something. It was just another little bit of marketing trickery that was pointed out to me at a young age. And I think did me a lot of good for my life. And I think about that every time I'm saving money by buying something. Does that stop me? No, but I think about it. It's a big week for Milton, I guess. Nova, good morning to you. Or Neva. Neva. Wow, I'm sorry, guys. I really got to get over and get a new glasses prescription. This is getting ridiculous. I put on my computer glasses, which make the computer screen look a little sharper than my regular glasses, but it's getting to the point where some mornings I see sharper than others, and I think that's just still a function of how I wake up, wide awake. Or so this morning I drug a little bit. I wasn't as quick and wide awake as I usually am, and it didn't get up till 6 o'clock. So I'll probably feel a little more alive and alert after this live stream is over. Who is this? Cleatharp. There's got to be two names in there, but I don't know where to drive them up. Hi, hello, Mitch and all. How are you, my friend? I'll call you Clee. How's that? Loretta Wallach. Hi, Loretta. How are you? Good to see you. And we had a good. Barry Simon says Saturday Night Live is growing, Mitch. It looks, it was 100. It broke 100 for a bit. Yeah, and that was an impromptu thing. Nobody expected it. Because I told everybody I wasn't going to do it. Well, I always, of course, reserve the right to change my mind. And if I change my mind, it doesn't mean you have to like it. No law says you have to celebrate. So it's a good test. It may be that posting it just a couple hours before gets more attention because YouTube may push it out there into the world closer to the time it actually starts, rather than like this morning live stream, which I posted last night at about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It's half the fun of YouTube, trying to figure out when you produce something, what YouTube's going to do with it, and whether anybody's going to even know it existed, or it's going to go viral. Unfortunately, none of my videos have ever really gone viral. Some of them have accumulated a lot of views over years, but a viral thing where it just shoots up to hundreds of thousands of views, nah, that's not what I do, or what I do doesn't get people all that excited, where the next thing you know, they're telling their friends who are telling their friends, you got to see this. I'm sure I could do something that might create that kind of virility, but I think it would be very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. I see Winn-Dixie had a sale on the rib, $4.99 a pound. I got enough ribeye. I got enough ribeye myself. And my mouse screwed up again. I know you're probably saying, why don't you get a new mouse already, Mitch? You stop this nonsense. And the answer is, I have a mouse that works perfectly, that I use most of the time, but it has that stupid back button on it. And it's a right-handed mouse that I'm using my left hand, and no matter how careful I am, I always bang into that back button with my finger here, and that tells my browser, go back to the previous page, which was before I set up StreamYard, and I'm back out of it, and it stops being on YouTube. So I got this cheap mouse, which is a Bluetooth mouse. The other mouse is not a Bluetooth mouse, but this one is. And for some reason, the Bluetooth connection, and I've tried other Bluetooth mice, so it's in my computer. So I try to keep this up, and it happens once in a while. It doesn't happen every time, but it's technology, and I don't want to start fooling. And if you try to find a mouse, I don't want to buy a left-handed mouse because I intend to be using my right hand again at some time in the future. So that's one of life's major problems for me here. And if that's my biggest problem, I'd have to say to myself that I'm doing okay. If that's the biggest problem I have. So I don't worry about it too much. But it is embarrassing when all of a sudden I'm in the middle of a live stream and it goes black. And then there are times when I try to restart it that it doesn't go well, and I actually have to close everything and start from the very beginning. This time it didn't. The tension, the stress. Yeah, just trying to share a little bit of my pain with you this morning. So you all talking about that sale. That was great. That was great. Everybody's talking about how much money they saved. Oh, I love it. I love it. Where did Mitch go? Where did Mitch go? Yeah. Screen is black, no sound. Yeah, when it goes, it goes. Yes, sir. And he told me that I'd be back in a minute, so I guess I'm catching up here. Hello, Rose. Rose is here from Dorset in the United Kingdom. Good afternoon to you. It's probably pushing. Well, it's close. It's close. Maybe just afternoon over there, depending on the time zone that you're in. Now, Rose says that coffee, unfortunately, can cause clot on carnivore, but I struggle to not have coffee in this broken world, especially in the UK, where nature is only accessible to the wealthy or lucky few. Okay, I don't know if there's any truth to that. You know, I had a stroke. Well, that was a clot in my brain. But I've been drinking coffee since then. I think I found other causes, more probable causes, but what is it in coffee that you think what is it in coffee? Is it the caffeine? Or is it one of the other many chemicals that you've heard is responsible for clots? I don't know. I was watching a show on Paramount Plus that is only available with ads. And I got to tell you, I like the show, but having to watch those ads, it's got me on the edge of saying, to hell with you. I ain't watching your show anymore because of those friggin' ads. And the ads, the show is an emergency room drama. And it's not a bad one, called Code Black. A little stupid, you know, in some areas, a little predictable in others. Some woke, but not too much woke stuff. Not in your face constantly, like most of these shows do. But the obligatory mixed race couples and lesbians and homosexuals sprinkled in liberally. And liberally, I mean that. But it's tolerable. It isn't to the point of in your face so much that you say, I can't watch this shit anymore. And you just tune it out. But they have commercials. And these commercials are all, it seems, medically related. Well, that wouldn't make sense, you say, but they're drug companies, hospitals. And a particular bias towards supplements. And they're mostly supplements that are sold by Amazon. And that makes sense because I'm watching this on Amazon Prime. And on the screen, whenever ever one of these product supplement advertisements comes up, there's always a little particular box that you can, or button you can click, and it will immediately order it for you on Amazon. So they really getting it all together. And the main sponsors of all these supplements, or Amazon, there's one called Life Extensions. They said for 50 years. So I can't believe they're still using that Life Extensions name from good old Dirk Pearson and Sandy Shaw back in or the other way around, back in the day. But they're still playing on that. Then there's Bronson, which I guess is from Coach Bronson, and they're advertising vitamin D3 and K2. This is going to tie in here with the clot theme. And try to find some accurate information that you can pretty much take to the bank out there about whether you must take K2 with D3, you shouldn't take K2 with D3, you shouldn't take K2 by itself, any combination of the above. I can't find it. All I find is opinions. And I find opinions every way. But one of the warnings that comes with vitamin K2 is that, and in a very healthy individual, it's never had a problem, or a young person, there's a reason why we have clotting factors in our blood, because you want your blood to clot. You don't want to bleed out if you get a paper cut. But after you have a stroke, you have to look at it entirely differently. Do I want to do anything or consume anything or take any medication that increases my clotting factors? Or, like I'm doing, do I want to take just one of these little 81 milligram baby aspirins a day, which acts as a blood thinner, which is basically an anti-clotting measure? So while everybody's telling me, oh, Mitch, you need to take vitamin K2 and D3, where the K2 is increases clotting factors, I'm also taking a vitamin which decreases clotting factors. So, once again, a piece of advice depends on the context. It depends on the person. It depends on their situation. Depends on their age. You can't, and that's the hard part, you can't in any way make blanket statements and everybody says, that's right for me, without a whole bunch of disclaimers and warnings. And on this particular ad for the D3K2 complex, they came out and said, well, they bragged about it, not as a warning, but they bragged about how vitamin K2 increases your clotting factors. It's healthy for you. Well, not for me. So we got to be careful. We got to be careful. Peter says, question, Mitch, what are your thoughts on using a microdose of GLP-1 with carnivore or keto? Dr. Boz uses this for folks who aren't responding to regular keto or carnivore to boost weight loss. Well, you know what my thoughts are, Peter. I think you're just giving me something to talk about. Towards the end of Kiltz's show, Phil Smith was answering. Well, I think he pushed that question over to Nelson, what they commented about. And he mentioned the fact in there that Boz will use it under certain conditions. And under those conditions, it might not be a bad idea for a short period of time as a bridge. Like, when you see a guy out there trying to start a weed eater out there on the side and it won't start, he's pulling his arm out of its socket. Occasionally you get a motor that won't start. You spray a little something in the carburetor to give it a kickstart. And but you don't run it on that stuff that you use to give it a kickstart. You basically use it for a brief period of time, for an instant. And once the thing starts, it starts running on its own. And one of the points that Phil Smith pointed out about any medication that you take to replace anything that the body makes naturally, and I've talked about this many times, is that by taking it exogenously, your body is getting it, and he used the term negative feedback loop. I talk about things like PID controllers, but that's what it is, where the need to produce something is compared to the supply on hand thousands of times a second. And that's what happens. So you go ahead and you inject GLP-1. The first message to your physiology is, oh, somebody just filled up our gas tank. We don't need to manufacture anymore. And you stop producing it on your own. And by continuing to keep supplying this external product over a long enough period of time, your body will just simply stop making it. That's all well and good as long as you are using a quality brand of this external supply of whatever it is you're pumping into yourself, whether it be thyroid hormone or GLP or whatever. The problem is when, especially in weight loss, is when you've lost some weight and you say, okay, I can get off of this GLP-1 now. And this is what happens to these people. Without the GLP-1, the glucagon-like peptide. It's not glucagon, it's a glucagon-like string of amino acids. And your body has pretty well forgotten or gotten used to coasting along and not making it. All of a sudden, you have no GLP-1. And your appetite goes crazy. And you become ravenous. And you can't stop eating. Because your body, without the external GLP-1, is not producing the satiety hormones that you need to tell your body that you don't need to keep stuff in your face. And then your addictions kick back in and you put all that weight back on and more if you're lucky enough not to have some of the other effects from this stuff. So the question, Peter, like I said, you already know, what are my thoughts on using? My thoughts are, do anything you can do first to avoid having to use these things and microdose. It sounds like, oh, nothing. Well, a micro dose of some poisons will kill you in seconds. Maybe in the hardest of hard cases, in the individuals who just can't do it. And there are people like that. I know people like that. You can try these things in small doses as a bridge or a Kickstarter. The danger in that is you do that to a person who has a lot of weight to lose. And this applies mostly, I think, in my opinion, again, my opinion, to people who have a lot of weight to lose. They start to lose weight. And at the point where they should or might have been able to control their cravings enough by just switching from the GLP-1 Kickstarter to back to meat and a good ketogenic diet, they probably would have gotten enough to continue through the transition. But I think most people, after a little bit of success because of the drug, wouldn't give it up. And I think that doctors like Dr. Boz, who in theory have a great idea, would be unable to keep track of the number of people who maybe didn't follow her advice when she says, okay, time to wean off of these drugs now. They're just not going to give it up. You know the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, a lot of people live like that. So I think it's a dangerous thing. I think that, yeah, there's some people who are never going to succeed. I think you can tough it through the first couple of weeks and eat no carbs and just eat meat and fat, and especially get enough fat. I think that you won't need a bridge. I think your appetite will be controllable. And I think the cravings will go away. And that's what happened to me. But I know that there are people who can't do that. So it's a good question, Peter, but not something that you can give any advice on, anything actionable. I'm not going to say to someone, yeah, that's a good idea, or no, don't ever do that. Once again, we're all different. We're all different. Everybody's talking to each other. All right, Simon's got another name for me, Mitch Weiss, YouTube consultant. No, I don't want to ever be a YouTube. YouTube is a mystery to me. Barry, it's a mystery. I like the grind my gears thing, though. I like that. I grind my beans, rather. Yes, sir. I like that. That's cool. Thank you, Barry. Bride's Biscuit, good morning to you. Good morning. She says, I spend nothing, but still have nothing, as I earn nothing as well. It's a weird place to be, but I don't overthink it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's true. Well, I understand. Peter, have you decided if you're going to change the name of your channel to take out the word carnivore? I keep thinking about it. I haven't done it yet. I had already said, all right, I'm going to do it on Monday, and then that's today. And now I'm saying, do I really want to do it? If I do change the name, I'll change it to Mitch Weiss, OGC, more than likely. I've always wanted letters after my name, but never got any, so or any that the world recognizes and respects, like MD, PhD. The closest I've ever come to be able to put some letters after my name that I think would be appropriate would be BS, but not the BS that the world recognizes, like Bachelor of Science. I'm talking about the other kind of BS. So if somebody challenged me on it, I would have to say, no, it's true. Yeah. So Peter, I don't know. Just watch one day it'll come up, in the YouTube feed, and the channel name will say Mitch Weiss OGC. And we'll see what happens. Because what have I got to lose? Who is this? My first interview went you had viral, and now it disappeared from the internet. Oh, okay. You're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about, Rick. I wasn't following the conversation. Rick says, I only use a wired mouse. You know, sometimes that's not a bad idea, but I use wired headphones for that reason. But pretty soon you got too many wires around. Far behind them. I got 20 minutes. That's okay, Peter, if people don't know what OGC stands for. You're right, Larry. People won't know. And the people that do know are the people that I want to know. I'm going to come up with some medical sounding name whose initials acronyms would be OGC for people who don't know or don't care. I just think that the name carnivore is only going to draw from the same small number of carnivores that are out there. I don't think most of Ken, but for example, I told you use Ken Berry as an example because he's got the biggest channel in this space, both carnivore and keto. I always use him as an example. I don't think he attracted all those people over the 9 or 10 years he's been doing this in any way by using the word carnivore. It's not in his title. He wasn't a carnivore. He started out low carb, then he went to keto, then Nisha invented this ketovore, which I still think is ridiculously fine line. And it's still an individual thing you have to discover. If you're really worried about being in ketosis all the time, you got to measure yourself. Some people can be in ketosis with more than 20 grams of carbs. Some people, if they eat 2 grams of carbs, can't be in ketosis. So you can't generalize these things. Among the human race, you can't generalize and say, well, everybody reacts the same way. We don't. But Ken Berry did not get the kind of following he got as a carnivore YouTuber. And he's a doctor. And even to this day, he still puts his message out there for everybody. I guess I do too. But people don't think they're going to find anything other than eat meat, eat meat, eat meat here. Certainly not any conversation about any other topics, which we do a lot. I comment on current events. we all talk about opinions. We talk about cigars. Maybe I should change the name of myself to Mitch Weiss, Cigars and More, you know. I might get more viewers. I think there are more cigar smokers in this country than there are carnivores. In fact, I'm sure of it because some of these cigar channels get big views. I don't know. And quite frankly, it's not all that important to me because becoming, you know, it's like, what do I want to be when I grow up? That's one thing I don't have to worry about anymore. I know what I become what I was going to be. It wasn't what I planned because it very rarely ever is, but I don't worry about that anymore. It's not that important to me. I'd like to be popular. I'd like to make a little money at it. And if it happens, it'll happen. But I disagree so much with the direction that this carnivore things and the clickbaity crap that they're using to get people, to scare people. And there's no shortage of that, because there's no shortage of people putting out propaganda against this. I still marvel at the medical community, how ignorant. I can't say stupid. They're making a fortune. Stupid people don't make fortunes. But ignorant, smart people do. And again, there's a play on words. The word smart and the word ignorant have nothing whatsoever to do with each other. Smart means you have processing power, you have brain power, you can be devious, you can be calculating, you understand things. Ignorance means there's information you never were exposed to that you lack or that you rely on. The two are mutually exclusive. The opposite of ignorant is knowledgeable. The opposite of smart is dumb. They mean different things. And the medical community is ignorant because they are just following the rules set down by the biggest companies profiting on the bad information. And they're doing it at the expense of all of our health and our loved ones' health. And you just have to look around to see it. And they still try to blame it on everything but what the real cause is. And just like so many of the other hoaxes, like global warming out there, climate change, they somehow try to make it all fit together. So they've told us now that farting cows are responsible for all of our problems. So it's a misdirection. Don't look over here at the 300 million fat people that are diabetics or pre-diabetics that are having heart attacks and filling up nursing homes. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. Look over there. Look at that. Look at that shiny thing over there called climate change. What marvels me or frustrates me is, and in order to not notice that, you got to be dumb. You got to be dumb. And that's the problem we have in this country. We're dumbing it down. We're dumbing it down. And if you don't believe me, just try to watch a half an hour of TikTok videos. I'm not talking about the few carnivores that are on TikTok. I'm talking about the trending videos. Just watch the trending videos on TikTok for a half an hour. And if you don't blow your brains out, then you got a problem. I don't know. The world is gone crazy. It's gone crazy. Let me try to, since it's almost an hour, I don't know if I've said anything useful. As Barry Simon, always full of sage and clever advice, says, bitch voice, CCC, cigars, coffee, and carnivore. That's good. I think I'm going to use OGC. I think I'm going to do that. I guess I don't know when. I'm still weighing it. It's not, I don't expect to skyrocket out of the starting gate the minute I change my name. In fact, people will say, whatever happened to Mitch? Enough people know me as Mitch, so I hope that they recognize the Mitch voice. The morning coffee with Mitch is still going to be there. I don't think I'm going to lose anybody any of this crowd. That's for sure. We'll see. We'll see. I can always change it back. I think they make you wait. They make you wait about 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, you can change it again. I'm going to keep the website name, Old Guy Carnivore. We're going to keep the email addresses and any of those references, the coupon codes. There are occasions somebody wants to get an air fryer or a vacuum sealer. That will be on my website. I don't push that a lot. We'll see. We'll see. Question, Mitch, from Robbie. How do you feel about the carnivore people pushing the ground up organs seasoning? Well, that's another controversial subject. And you hear horizon to horizon views from different people. Same thing with coffee. There are people that's telling you that you'll live longer if you drink coffee. You'll be healthier if you drink coffee than if you don't. And other people, of course, are telling you it's going to kill you. Now, one thing you always have to keep in mind that all advice, this might be interesting and worthwhile for you to think about. All advice that you might hear is going to have two sides. Those who are for it, like you should drink coffee and it's going to make you live longer, it's healthy for you. Or you shouldn't drink coffee. It's going to kill you, and here's why. You should eat sugar. You shouldn't eat sugar. Should eat plants. Shouldn't eat plants. And the one that this question was about, organ meat. And there's a lot of people out there who are telling you, extolling the virtues of organ meat. And there are people that say, you don't need it. You could live perfectly fine without it. There are people who say, well, the lions, that's the first thing they go for. Then the other guy says, yeah, but we're not lions. We're not cats. We're different. Because one species might need something or like it, doesn't mean another species of life does. Then you have, and in random control trials and things like that, you throw in the confounders, the things that, well, yeah, but what about this? What about that? So if you want to say, is organ seasoning a good idea? You have to say, well, what am I doing it for? Am I doing it for the taste or the organs? Because I'm not going to get the taste without the other seasonings in there. I'm not going to get liver powder that tastes like garlic. I'm sorry. So what they've done is they've taken the seasoning that's full of the plant seasonings, the peppers, the garlics, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, and other plants, and ground up a little bit of desiccated liver or kidney or whatever. And you have to say to yourself, well, am I going to benefit more from the addition of the organ meat to the poisonous nature of the plants? And it becomes a thought exercise in absurdity. The way I feel about these things is, in reality, if you think it's going to help you and maybe improves the taste, you're only talking about a little sprinkle of it. Just how much of this stuff are you going to use if it's seasoning? How much, how much liver are you really going to sprinkle on top of your ribeye or your hamburger? That's why when I make chicken wings, I use a little of the garlic, black pepper, and salt. Kinder's mix, because it just tastes good. And I say, what the hell? When I go to lunch with my son at Sonny's, I say, so what? They put a little sugar rub, a little barbecue rub on the beef. Once, every couple of weeks, they're going to hurt me. And it doesn't make any difference. So from that avenue, just if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. But if the goal is to get organ meats, just get yourself some liver and eat it. And now the point I was trying to make before was one thing you always have to consider when you're looking at a pro and con argument is what are the motives behind the people making the argument? And more often than not, there are more people behind the pro side of every argument than the con, because there's more of a chance that the people behind the pro side of it are selling it. And people that are telling you not to buy it pretty much have no skin in the game unless they're trying to sell you something else instead. So the way you have to look at any of this advice is who's trying to sell me what? And if somebody's trying to talk you out of something with no gain in it for them, you have to kind of weigh their argument a little more credible than the guy that's telling you, you need this supplement, you need that, you need to add that. Now, when it comes to organ meat, I don't think there's a lot of positive bias for organ meat because there aren't a lot of people making a ton of money selling organ meat. So they've discovered a way to make money selling organ meat, and it's by making supplements out of them. So this seasoning evidently is playing on the propaganda from somebody that if you don't eat organ meat, you're going to suffer. I don't listen to any of it anymore. I don't take any of that advice. I might say I consider it, but I'm not going to let them scare me into buying their product anymore. And I don't watch their clickbaity videos. It's all marketing. And back to my prime main belief that just about everything we see and hear today is pure, unadulterated bullshit. And that's the first thing I try to rule out before I waste a lot of time even thinking about what this particular OxyClean salesman is actually saying. So that's the answer to that. That's a non-answer if I ever heard one. And basically the bottom line is you want to use it, use it. I can't tell you any great reason to use it or any great reason not to use it. Just don't use too much of it. Tammy says, Mitch, most of the headlines are scare tactics as far as I'm concerned. That's exactly what the influencers are doing now. I can't afford to click on it. It's insane. Yes, it is. I agree. I'm trying not to play that game. Unfortunately, you have to play that game. You have to. The masses of people, the dumbasses, that's not dumbasses, but dumb masses. Make that clear. But you knew that. The dumb masses won't respond unless they're being screwed. It's like they go out of their way to get screwed. The guys that want to be honest and try to do the right thing don't stand a chance in this world anymore. You got to be a huckster, pitchman. People want that. I understand why. Because they're dumbasses, most of them. You have to be to fall for that. You're either a dumbass or you're profiting off the dumbasses. That's about it. And the medical community is certainly profiting off the dumbasses, and so is the big food companies. So they're not dumbasses, but they're evil. Maybe I got 82 people here. Maybe the only 82 people, really nice, honest people in the world. We're becoming a minority, folks. And they're feeding on us. Question, Mitch, from Amy. Mitch, we are dumbing it down. I went back to college 3 years ago for IT, and all the tests, open book and online. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Not like when I went to Notre Dame 25 years ago where you had to learn something. That's true. All the tests for certifications these days, for licenses. It's like a participation trophy. You don't have to win anything. You don't have to know anything. You just got to show up and participate, because it's politically incorrect to discriminate against people who can't pass a test. That's not fair. It might hurt their feelings. Welcome to the 21st century and the woke agenda everywhere. But that's what it is. And every time we try to fix things, we are overrun by the dumbasses of the world, beaten down again. Then they vote for somebody else, and we're back to the woke shit. Don't be surprised if in 2028 we don't become a highly woke country anymore. And we have to be careful of the thought police. And maybe we'll take old Maduro, if he's still alive, build him a new palace down there in Venezuela, put him back there, reestablish his cartel and his drug runners, and do all that stuff. There's a little politics today that all these liberals are losing their minds over right now. Because how dare we try to fix the drug problem in this country by not going to the source of it, but merely trying to put Band-Aids on it. It sure worked for us in the past 30, 40 years, this war on drugs. Yep, no drug addicts here anymore. No supply of that shit coming over the border. And I keep talking like that you need to find the root cause and fix it. And that message gets nowhere in this world. Band-Aids. Band-Aids are where the money is. Should have bought Band-Aid stock a long time ago. Sorry about that little political view. I know I try to stay away from that, but I can't help it. All right, getting down to the bottom. DS on 11 is going to ask you a question. I'm almost afraid to take this one. Mitch, I have a buddy who takes, I don't know how many medications for depression, I think 2 years ago. He forgot to refill and was actually terrified. And these my meds, man. He said, yeah, it's we're conditioned. We're conditioned. We're brainwashed. My grandmother before she died. She was like 85. She was a diabetic. She was on so many pills. And she was getting sicker and sicker. And they finally just said, well, let's try taking oil. It was just, what was wrong with her mostly was drug interactions. So they stopped most of the medicine and she got better. We're making ourselves sick, but they don't mind. They don't mind. These doctors write prescriptions with no, I guess they must think about it, but at one point in this age of specialty, where you don't have one doctor writing all your prescriptions, you got your podiatrist, you got your chiropractor, you got your internist, you got your kidney guy, they're all writing prescriptions and they're all relying on you knowing what the hell you're doing. Because they ask you, are you taking any prescriptions when you come in? And that requires you to remember what they are. And they make their recommendations based on what you told them. Most of the time, you don't know in the first place, or you forgot. And you got 10 doctors writing prescriptions, and it's up to the pharmacist to decide whether all these prescriptions you're taking are interacting or not. And you got 3 different drugstores you go to, or 4 or 10. Oh, let me try Amazon. Amazon's got a pharmacy. I'm going to get my drugstore. So you got your prescriptions coming from 6 different drugstores. You got 10 different doctors all writing prescriptions, and nobody knows what the hell's going on, not even you, and you're supposed to not have drug interactions. That's where we are now, and it's ridiculous. And anybody comes along and tries to nationalize your health records, you scream privacy, privacy, privacy. And I don't blame you. So it's broken. The system is completely broken. I'm supposed to go in for my physical to the VA, and I'm scared. I don't want to go. I don't want to go near them. I don't want them sticking needles in my arm and taking blood. I don't want their advice. I don't want to know anything. If I have an emergency and I need to be, like when I have my stroke, yeah, have at it, guys. I'd be dead otherwise. You're good at that. I trust that. But monitoring my health, trying to find something so you can be proactive at pushing 80 years old is getting a little cumbersome. And going back over my history, they've never fixed any chronic disease. The only way I was ever able to fix a chronic disease, high blood pressure, overweight, arthritis, pain, eczema, the only way I was ever able to fix was not from a doctor's advice. It was dietary, and it fixed them all. So I've kind of made a split in my own mind about who I'm listening to and what I need to do. And it is, if it's a metabolic issue, I don't want to know what they think. The medical community. F you. Keep your advice to yourself. You want to do it, do it. You want to eat those healthy whole grains and all that fruit and vegetable and avoid the dietary fat and eat only fake chicken and soy-based hamburgers? Have at it, my friend. Shut the F up when it comes to giving me advice. I tried it your way all my life and got so screwed up. And then you want to tell me that anything I have now, any health problem I have now, is a result of a few years of carnivore and not a lifetime of listening to you. Got no use for them. I've got no use for them. That's just me, my opinion. I'm not giving you advice and telling you to elevate your middle finger as you drive by your doctor's office. But I put doctors in the same esteem category that I now have for lawyers, used car salesmen, and now doctors and other health care professionals like dietitians. They think I'm crazy. I understand why. They think we're crazy. They think that I think that they're all criminals and don't even know it. Of course, so many of them are good people. They're so brainwashed, so brainwashed. But brainwashing is pretty common in everything these days. Maybe I'm brainwashed. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't listen to anybody, hardly. Can't be brainwashed if you got a self-cleaning brain, basically, and most of your ideas and thoughts are your own. You're not just parroting what everybody else says. And I'm the antithesis of everybody in this world. And I think that's the one advantage I have. Is it doing me any good? Who knows? I'm just living my life like everybody else. So listen, guys. Oh, it's got it. Looking at it, 8:17. I've been rambling. Thanks for showing up. Be back here tomorrow night for the members live stream at 7 p.m. Tuesday night, and then back again Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock after Kilty for Morning Coffee with Mitch. Hope to see you. I may have a new channel, a name by then, or I may not. We'll see. We'll see. I'm ready. I get ready to pull the trigger on it, and I waffle. Advantage, disadvantage. Probably overthinking it dramatically, because I don't think it's going to make all that much difference either way. And for those of you who are waiting for me to get the hell out of here so you can start your own streams, any minute now, any minute now. Everybody's saying goodbye. Thanks. See you tomorrow, says Rick. What the? 24 new pickles. Night all. Okay. Time to touch. Goodbye, Laurie. See you later, Sandy. Lambs, good to see you, my friend. Anthony's here. Yeah. And Donna Ray, goodbye. Music's about to end. And so am I. Sorry about the blackout earlier. We fixed it pretty quick. Here it comes. Have a great day. Have a great day. Happy 2026. And to celebrate, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.